What's up, friends? Welcome to another episode of Auto Afflicted. I'm your host as ever, Ali Goulet, and today I'm going to show you how we got this 2002 S55 AMG for $2,400. Let's check it out. Welcome to another episode of Auto Afflicted. I'm your host, Ali Goulet, and I'm going to request that you put a like on this and subscribe. I know whenever I'm ingesting someone's content, I'm always thinking, I should probably like and subscribe. So won't you do the same? Anyway, I got a buddy, and his name, let's say it's Chaz, and he owns a dive bar in Big Sky, Montana. Let's say that's called the Brothel. And like any self-respecting dive bar owner, he needs a cheap Mercedes that really says dive bar owner. So we found ourselves a distressed seller of a nice Benz. Found it on the local classifieds. Interesting situation. Something about a guy in jail. Title's kind of funky looking, but we're not afraid. So here in Utah, all you need is a bill of sale to buy a car. And we've already checked out this VIN. We know it's not stolen, so we're pretty good to just go ahead with the bill of sale, and we should be able to get this thing registered up, no problem. But this, my friends, is how you get yourself a cheap S-Class Benz. Find yourself a distressed seller and make some moves.
Man, it's been a crazy morning. I'm not even in Salt Lake right now.
I'm here now. The car's not here. Where's the car at?
I can do 24 if you want.
You're driving back now. Just hit me up when you're getting closer, and we'll get this figured out.
All right, man. Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Let's just get it done now. Cool.
Oh yeah, I'll call you when I'm done there.
Flexibility, willingness to pounce, patience, 3 virtues. Now we gotta wait for this guy to reappear with the car and the title and all that shit. So, pretty extended delay, typical for these situations, as you heard in the earlier phone call. The guy was running around like a chicken with his head cut off. Now we are pulling up to see this thing officially and see if we can make a deal on this here. So wait. Did we just buy an S55 AMG for $2,400? $2,400. $2,400. Check this thing out. So here it is, the $2,400 S55. This is either a huge score or a massive mistake. So this car, new in 2002, $100,000 car. So, when it comes time to repair this car, you're repairing a $100,000 car, not a simple $2,400 car. For instance, the suspension on this car came out in the C11 Sauber race car, and it's called the ABC suspension. It's active body control. And essentially it's a 3,000 PSI system that pressurizes the outside struts in any corner to keep the car super level. Under acceleration and deceleration, same thing. And I can attest to the beauty of this suspension. It truly works. It's an amazing thing, but when you have to repair it, you're talking a couple $1,000s a corner. And, I've seen people just chase issues for this suspension all around the car. So it's definitely something to watch out for. Even though this is one of the most disliked S-Class, it's still an S-Class, and it set the standard with this new chassis, with the ABC suspension, the active body control, Another really cool feature was the introduction of LED tail lights. So super good bright tail lights. So this is where the gripes really are as far as S-Class goes. I mean, if you look at the buttons and things like this, it's a bit of a departure from the really high-end build quality that Mercedes would do, but still beautiful inside. I mean, it's an S-Class. And when it comes to an S-Class, I mean, even the least liked S-Class is still an S-Class and the thing that every car should really be compared to, or is compared to. But definitely some fitment issues. As you can see here, we were getting some serious rub on the way home, and I could feel it pulling on the car when it rubbed, and it's rubbing like a champ. Cutting rubber on these fucking 2030 series tires, 275/30. Are you fucking kidding me? This is insane. All right, here we are at area 69, undisclosed location. We're gonna get the S55 up in the air and see what's going on underneath. See if it's hiding any gremlins for that pocketbook. Going up. All right, so we got the S55 up in the air. What I'm looking for is wet spots and other obvious things like holes in the exhaust, which I know this one doesn't have because I'm not hearing anything. You know, cracked boots, things like that. So up here under the oil pan, a little wet here, and then it starts to get more wet here. It looks, right, like if you look here, this is power steering, and it definitely looks kind of wet there, but if you look here, it's super wet also, and looks kind of oily. And actually, if you can see, which I can't see over here, but over here I can see up there, and it's looking pretty wet. That's the valve cover. Anyway, it seems to be leaking up there, and you can see certainly here, you can see there's quite a bit of oil. That's definitely coming down, and that's wetting all of this, which can look pretty scary initially because this this accumulator, this whole thing here leads to the ABC suspension, or is part of the ABC suspension, and you don't want to see that leaking, but I don't think that's actually leaking. The leaking is coming, I believe, from above on the engine, and then the oil's coming down here, and it's wetting back here, which I believe it's all coming from up here to begin with. Something else I'm noticing here, this is transmission was making a little bit of a grumble, and I can see here, looks like something's missing. Looks like some bolts are missing, and I can't see. Right in here is the transmission mount, and this car has 156,000 miles. I'm guessing that has not been replaced. Anyway, I can't get a good look at it, but that is the transmission, like the bushing, bearing, support. Nothing gets worn out. You're gonna get some rumbling up here underneath the rear wheels. I think this is buildup coming from the front, spraying back. Otherwise, it's looking pretty dry up here. These boots are definitely dry, but intact. So that's nice. And I don't see any fluid, like current wetness from the high pressure hydraulic hoses that go to the ABC suspension. So that's a positive. You know, as far as rubber bearing, bushing items go. 156,000 miles. This thing is still looking pretty good down here, and when I drove it, it was feeling decent as far as the suspension goes. So the transmission was acting a little funny, but the exhaust, all in all, exhaust looks good. Really nice exhaust on this. You got the AMG free flow exhaust here. So this whole car is a pretty nice piece of kit, and so far for $2,400, you got to be happy. So all in all, I think it's looking pretty good under here. Definitely found some leaks, but nothing too major. Looks like it's hopefully valve cover gaskets. Doesn't look like it's the ABC suspension. So I don't know, fingers crossed. But I'm gonna take this to an actual mechanic because I just kind of play one on YouTube, learning as I go, missing 10% of everything that's important, of course. But the actual mechanic's gonna check it out. Let me know what this thing's really looking like as far as potential repairs and money pit factors. So I'm here at German Car Service, and I'm gonna drop this thing off with a trusted mechanic to have him give it a full look over. There's the man himself, Mel of German Car Service. Most trusted. Honestly, this is why I come to this place. When you walk inside, old photos of Mercedes, it just gives you that vibe that, there's a deep appreciation and a base of knowledge and experience. And to me, that makes all the difference. Don't come by this place asking to buy any of these cars, because they're not for sale. Even if there's cool ones, they're still not for sale. Don't even look back there at that coupe. Don't even look at that 16 valve. Don't even look at it. It's not for you. It's not for you at all. All right, so we got the car back from German Car Service. My buddy needed some things done right away, so we got the rear brakes done, rotors, pads, that needed to be done. We got the fluid flushed, so the braking is up to spec. And then also, as I thought, the transmission mount was done, so he had that put in, and then those missing bolts on the bottom, those were actually exhaust bracket hardware, and there were some other pieces that were missing, so we got those bolted up. He wanted to get all that stuff done. My friend did, the actual owner of the car. I was going to do it for him, but I have a job. I don't work on cars every day, so for time reasons, he did throw down for that, and that was $1,100, almost $1,200 for those repairs at $125 an hour. $125 an hour is really a great rate. It does go up to like $175 or something around there here in town, depending on dealership and such. So, the parts are not even really half of this bill, and the labor is much more than that. So here's the rest of the bad news as far as things that were sussed out. We already knew the wiper blades needed replacing. We already knew the hood shocks were bad. It's missing the washer reservoir cap. We knew that, not a big deal. Suspension fluid dipstick is missing. Didn't know that, so we got one on order. The front and rear flex discs are cracking and should be replaced soon. That's part of the drive line. That was something I did see, so that's on the list to do. The lower ball joint boots are cracked, the front thrust arm boots are cracked, and the steering rack boots have some holes in them. All those need to be replaced. That's something I didn't see. That's something that I'm going to try to replace. I'm going to try to do all this other stuff for my buddy Chaz, and keep the cost down for him, but then also, add to the YouTube and the how-tos that I've got up. Needs valve cover gaskets replaced. I knew that. That's actually really expensive as far as the labor goes. but the parts are probably about 40 bucks. It's just a lot of time to take all that stuff out. Rear diff fluid needs to be replaced, or yeah, should be changed. Transmission fluid should be serviced. These are all pretty minor things, but if you're gonna run to the dealership, or if we're gonna have an independent do it, you know, there's thousands of dollars here, and this car has a blue book value between high 7s and high 10s really. And even though we got it for $2,400, if you know, fix everything on the car and pay premium for it, you're probably going to be at 10 grand. And that's not really where we want to be. So let me show you what the interior looks like and some of the little things in there. So in the car here, the interior is pretty nice. I've actually gone through and detailed it. The AC works, the heat works, the stereo bumps, turn signals work, headlights work, all that stuff works. You know, small things that are busted, like some plastics, and these little doors are like hammered, and really they didn't treat the trim very nice in this. Looking here in the back, you can see it's luxurious, and it cleaned up really nicely. The headliner got super clean, very easy. This is a really cool feature here, you know, for smokers. Not that anyone's really, well, I mean, smoking's coming back. Not that you want to smoke in your car, but that is cool. As we walk around the car, you know, the exterior is pretty clean, but it's not pristine. I think I already mentioned the door locks aren't working. That's something I'm going to work on. I was going to show you the workaround for the door locks not working. So the workaround is you actually hold the unlock button for 3 seconds, then you can manually lock the car, and then when you hit the lock button again, all the windows and sunroof go up and down, and boom, closed. So, I mean, that's not for everybody, but for those that want to own a $2,400 AMG, it might be for you. There are cracks on the bumper there. You can see the one headlight is discolored, and it actually has a broken mount. We're missing a piece of trim here. That's about a $100 piece of trim almost. There's a little bit of dent here and maybe some rust, and the crack here. So, you know, there's a bunch of things going on with this car. And then also I had to rig the trunk right now because the locks aren't working, so I've rigged it so you actually push the whole mechanism up, and then that lets you in here to the trunk. And what we have here in the trunk actually is the replacement wheels. So some 18-inch AMGs with a proper offset so that they don't rub like these nasty 20s with baloney skin tires. So there you go, the $2,400 Mercedes-Benz. Like I said earlier, it's not for everybody, because the most expensive Mercedes-Benz is a cheap one, unless you're going to do the work yourself, and then I don't know, buyer beware. Anyway, appreciate you guys checking it out. For sure, we're going to do some more work on this car, have some episodes about it. We're going to drive it. That's going to be fun. So please give this a like if you enjoyed, even if you didn't. Also, hit the subscribe and the notifications. This stuff is just massively important, and so I hate to ask, but there you go. Anyway, catch you guys on the next one. Thank you.